everybody. Welcome to the JMCC Podcast for the week of Thursday, October 9th, 2014. This is actually our 8th episode. We haven't done one in, I believe, over a year. And for anyone who may have seen the old ones, you notice this is just sound only because it's actually better that way because we had like a crappy video and stuff like that. So the first thing we're talking about today is actually our artistic talent or lack thereof, because we're, of course, in the Japanese manga and cosplay club. And one of the big things is that we all kind of want to make something. And even as a group, we wanted to make something. But we have, two artists, like a bunch of story writers and then 2 artists. So it doesn't work.
You could also title this segment Writing Stories or Making Comics, just to make it sound less negative.
Trying to write stories and trying to make comics. But we do, like before we start, I was going to say, I have this comic book when I was in 9th grade. I used to draw all the time because I wasn't paying attention in class. And I would draw, there were 3 things when I was back then. It was Naruto, just came out on Toonami, and that was when I first got into Naruto, so I, of course, would draw a bunch of Naruto stuff. I got really into graffiti, and that was when Mark Echo's game came out, Contents Under Pressure getting up. And so I got really, really into graffiti again because I always loved it, and that game was just all about graffiti and stuff, so I would draw a bunch of stuff from the game. And then it was just stick figures after that, because I've always been into the websites that are stickdeath.com. I don't know, do you guys know what stickdeath is?
I know, yeah. Nostalgia.
Stickdeath is, for anyone who doesn't know, stickdeath is it's probably the funniest stick-based animation website you could go to. There's Stick Death and then there's Stick Page, which does actually get updated. Stick Death hasn't been updated since 2003, I think, but I still go back to that sometimes.
Trigger warning. It may offend somebody who's a current, I don't know, SJW or whatever, because all the comments tend to offend back then.
Yeah, it's the internet type of content.
Yeah, it's the internet.
The real internet in stick form. There are games. I
Yeah.
remember there's a game where you just play through a crack house.
That was
I remember
again, trigger warning, don't play that anymore.
Even though the art
user.
doesn't sound that good, at least the people there are just trying to artistically express themselves.
Yeah,
because it doesn't matter how for quality of your writing, which actually could really need you to have good quality if you're going to publishers, but what matters is that as long as you'll be able to tell an interesting story, that's what's writing about. But I think you shouldn't really let any young children go to that website.
You shouldn't.
Probably not, but it happens anyway.
Made in an
I think I noticed that when I was
made in an intentional joke, but seriously, you should really nowadays there's a lot of things that can seem pretty cute but are actually violent.
Yeah,
we have
definitely.
kids playing Call of Duty. If
Exactly.
they want to see it, they'll find a way.
Yeah.
Although I think with Stick Death would be really hard because that page that website's so old. I don't think anyone even like us we would know about it. But
it's
honestly,
brutal, but it's non-graphic, but brutal.
Yeah, I think the worst it gets is
oh, man.
they shoot each other and then blood comes out.
Yeah,
but that's
Call of Duty. Yeah.
In fact, they may find that stuff too cartoony.
Yeah, this is lame. They actually blow up someone's face. Okay.
Yeah, if it's one thing I learned from reading stuff about it on the internet, don't judge a series by its cover, but what matters is that if it tells a good story, generally good story, and it's pretty funny, you should try to enjoy it. So even cartoons can tell incredible stories.
They can.
Like Adventure Time.
They do, for sure, because with the Stick Death stuff, with it being super adult, it's very different from, of course, any show, especially Adventure Time. Maybe not so much Adventure Time, not from the beginning at least. I know. I remember Teddy was talking about that when it first came out. It was way different from.
Oh yeah,
it
was changed a great deal. Yeah.
Yeah, he said it was super sort of graphic and stuff in at least the first episode, then it kind of transitioned to more Cartoon Network-ish, I guess.
I wouldn't say it was super graphic, but there were certain episodes that were kind of little more on the edge of things. You know,
Yeah,
like,
it's amazing how
You could just say they were getting a feel for things.
Yeah, growing the beard, as they would say.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, like stick death though. That was one of the things, and I would always draw some of the big fight scenes. And this was actually not from Stick Death, but Stick Page. They have a lot of flash animation fight scenes where the stick figures fight, and they all actually look really amazing. It'd be a bunch of cool stuff, and I would always try to draw those, but it would be like the buildings would be amazing, detail would be like the tiniest little stick figure people.
what good irony.
Yeah, it was just detail, and then the people were just like,
I guess it's just part of the charm, like how nearly all the Adventure Time characters have black beady eyes.
Yeah.
Like it's from a stick figure and no noses. I guess it's just part of the charm. Like also with Bravest Warriors, which is also by Penderton Ward. I'm not trying to spread the word or anything. I'm just pointing it out as a good example.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that series in a while. Specifically, I'm like at the season finale. Yeah, I probably need to watch it.
Speaking of like Adventure Time and that, because I mean that is a point. Like with us trying to like get things to go with like drawing and animation like that. Like those are really simplistic cartoons and everything. So you think like, oh, I could totally do that too. But you start realizing like even something as simplistic as that, it's still like it's an art form. It's like everyone has their own certain style. That is a style, and people have like taken to it and actually like it. Like we can draw something and it won't. You can try to make it look like it, but people are just gonna be like, "Oh, it looks like it, but it's bad," you know.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's like with anime, kind of like anything that has been super old, like Dragon Ball Z. I was watching like a playthrough of one of the old Ultimate Ninja games, and they were talking about how Naruto has like the Ultimate Ninja Storm games, and the cell shading works in that because Naruto never really changed. It got better when they did like Shippuden. When that came out, it's slightly improved, but like they can't do that with like the Dragon Ball Z games, because over time Dragon Ball Z went from like the 80s, 70s, 80s to you know now. So it's changed, even though it's like it's still really old compared to now, because it's even GT came out like the 90s.
There are some things that live on depending on. Some things just have a certain charm to it, like Dragon Ball Z, even though there are nowadays a lot of idiot hero-based characters, but they can actually be pretty smart. But there's different types of intelligence, basically.
Yeah, but I don't know, like something about it. It just depending on the art, it's very different how you can see it. Like I just played a demo of the new Dragon Ball Z game, which came out because of. I think it came out because Battle of the Gods came out. So it's like Battle of Z or whatever.
I heard
that. Beers, at least I think that's your predecessor's name. The God of Destruction, who looks like a cat and is based off an actual cat who survived, and who's the most powerful being in the series. How powerful? I won't mention it due to spoil. I read on the internet, but I won't mention it due to spoilers because that's the thing. Because people would complain in the comments like, "Oh,
spoilers.
You ruined the movie for me." No offense to those people, to our viewers, to the people who listen to the podcast, of course. But what matters is that you should try to respect that some people like to learn what's going to happen to ahead of time, but some just like to learn it right away.
Yeah, but
not even that the strongest. Yep, I just gave away the spoiler. So I'll deal with it.
And I can put it.
What was the spoiler again?
Brandon style. Which we can, of course, put an annotation in. Although, unless you downloaded it, which if you did somehow, thank you, first off. But sorry, too.
Yes. You should get some editing software. Leave that out.
No spoilers without a proper warning.
But God, that new game, I played the demo, and I was like, this bores me. Like, I played the whole demo. I liked it way less than all the other games. It has an amazing concept because I can't think of any of the other DBZ games where it was, like, open world. Like, they have the battles where they're, you fly around and stuff. Yeah. But this one seemed like, it was kind of the same. The graphics looked amazing for it because it wasn't cel shaded. It looked almost really realistic. That's kind of the style they went, but it actually worked for it. But it was just like, man, I don't know. With DBZ being as old as it is, you can give a demo where I'm doing Super Saiyan 3. That's what I'm saying. Because it was literally the beginning of the series. I fought Nappa and Raditz in the demo. I was like, why do that?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
We can do
Like,
that.
Fun fact, Vegeta. Wait a sec, I think you said Raditz, right?
Yeah.
What I meant to say was Vegeta. Apparently, he was originally going to be killed off, but he just proved so popular that he survived.
To die
Like,
a million
yeah.
times in every
Yeah.
other. Like, well, he didn't die like we wanted, so we'll beat him up in every movie.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That's how. Yeah.
They paid him back for it. That's for sure.
It's something I remember a friend told me about when we were watching Naruto. He mentioned how Naruto and Sasuke are like Goku and Vegeta because he mentioned how their colors are the same and like how they were like that. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But Sasuke doesn't get like destroyed or anything like Vegeta does.
Yeah, the funny thing about me mentioning the Vegeta thing, not supposed to be. I mean, Goku himself was actually supposed to be killed off at some point. It was supposed to be like Gohan from that point on, but
that
they're
pretty
like,
much makes a lot of sense.
no, no one
Too
wanted
far.
Goku gone. It's like you need him back.
Yeah,
it's like okay.
Executive.
So then they made him pay for it every moment the rest of the time. It's brutal
Executive meddling
beatings.
strikes again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
But on the other
Other
hand,
I didn't like Gohan as much as a lot of like they might have expected me to. I'm like, okay. If it was future Gohan, I would watch a show on that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like
that was
one-armed Gohan
really
or
the
just-
one-armed Gohan.
that was
like,
really post-apocalyptic.
That was-
pre
probably the
one-armed,
most
but I mean, you
dramatic.
don't have to have the arm torn off. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that movie was like
Yeah.
the most dramatic stuff.
that is probably my favorite of all their movies.
Yeah.
Just how insanely
And-
badass. Like,
It was
Like,
super
where did you
emotional,
go?
and he's like one arm Super Saiyan and
Yeah.
all types of craziness.
full-on beatdown with one arm, man. It's like, holy shit.
Wow.
It's impressive.
I did enjoy my favorite thing in all of Dragon Ball Z was Super Saiyan 2 Gohan.
Well,
That's always been my favorite
That
part.
was
yeah,
pretty
fighting
intense.
against Cell.
Perfect.
That was his
Yeah.
one arm moment,
Yeah,
actually.
apparently-
Yeah, that was the one arm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently the
it
other-
just came early and no one cared afterwards. It's like, okay.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Uh,
Also, I'm
destiny.
not trying to be a
It's
try to
destiny.
fun fact thing. I'm just trying to say stuff that's generally interesting.
Yeah.
The reason why Cell's second form didn't really last long is because the editor thought he was too ugly. But yeah, kind of hard to.
Given.
Yeah, he just doesn't. To have a truth, the second form doesn't seem to have really the same charm as the first
first
form.
or the-
Super Insectoid.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Did that happen with
wow,
Frieza
super
too?
Perfect Cell.
I remember-
Yeah, Frieza's forms went by
but- oh, yeah,
really quick.
like
the
I
third
was
form was
saying-
really
Yeah.
ugly looking, so they're
They
like,
probably-
Like I was
let's
saying,
just...
yeah, but so that's why Akira
Yeah.
Toriyama deliberately had Cell's second form be the one who killed Goku.
Because it's
Sort of like
ugly.
as
that
take
is
that
pretty
by
funny to think
editor.
about. Because it's like, yeah, Frieza's third form, he like clearly had everyone beat, just hands down.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just gonna move on to my final form.
Yeah.
For reasons unknown, it's like, oh, maybe it's just
To
because
look-
you're butt
yeah,
ugly,
people are
you know.
tired of
It's
looking
like,
at them.
okay.
The middle form's always awkward, like the teenage years of.
Yeah,
the-
exactly.
And
Yeah.
apparently it's a really common for villains and anime villains, their true forms or something being as described as Bisonen.
Bisonen?
Yeah,
Sexy
like-
boy.
yeah. I'm just reading stuff I learned on this website called TV Tropes. It's really interesting how it breaks down. Not trying to advertise anything again. But it's really interesting how it's just so describes stories, and it can also give you ideas on how to make stories
Awesome.
by not trying to copy everything, but use those tropes for your own unique story.
Yeah. I think I heard something similar about the Dragon Ball Z stuff because I watched, I guess not to advertising it, but there's another thing on YouTube called Did You Know Gaming, and those are really cool. Like you learn a bunch of random facts about old games. So I was watching like old stuff for like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, and I watched one for DBZ games because I have like an emulator disc. And I think I'll bring that in one day. I have one on my Dreamcast, and it's like a bunch of old Nintendo games. So I have like, I remember when I first found this out that DBZ was on the Nintendo. I didn't realize how old it really was.
crazy, right?
I have like 3 or 4 games on that disc that are made for the Nintendo. And they talked about, I believe it was in that video, and they talked about how the villains do always have the same thing where it's like their other forms are kind of ugly looking, but their final form is like sleek and it looks kind of cool and stuff, and everybody sort of likes it. It's like that's the cool
Or
version.
Yeah,
or
gotta
occasionally
sell
the
it, man.
forms are more
Gotta sell it.
monstrous, like good example, Ganondorf, how he
Yeah.
becomes the pig-like beast Ganon.
Yeah, it's like kind of nothing compared
Or
to.
or Maleficent when she became a giant fire-breathing dragon.
Yeah. It's
So
like-
that's wait, he?
See, that's what I meant to say, but see, because it's easy to slip words sometimes,
Or you're thinking of the recent movie. Apparently, her raven is dragon for some reason. But enough about that.
Speaking of those old Dragon Ball Z games, like for the most part, I remember there being like some major villains in some of the older ones that I didn't think were even like really introduced to the public before that. I don't like.
Well, like Garlic Jr.
Garlic. Oh, those
Maybe.
guys.
I know that
a
the
lot of
first
those
Dragon
guys
Ball
are
Z game
non-canon, like
I played
Bojack.
was
I think that's his name.
yeah.
Or
The
this-
first one I played was on PlayStation, and it had Majin Buu and Super Buu, and they really had
That's
not
the
been
one.
introduced before, and it was
That
like,
was the
well,
one
how
that
are
was
these
in
guys?
the,
And all of a sudden it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was,
These guys are awesome.
yeah, that was in the video where they talked about that specific game. They were like,
Yeah.
this game came out in like 98.
Yeah.
It was like season 2 of Dragon Ball Z in America.
Spoilers.
And,
Yeah,
yeah.
major
And, like-
spoilers, guys.
And like people were just confused, like,
Yeah.
what?
Who's the
What
pink
were
guy?
spoilers
Yeah.
exactly?
Who's the pink guy?
It was just that it was
It came
for
out
us.
way
It was the
before,
game
yeah.
of GT, which I thought it
Oh.
was weird that they would even let that happen.
Oh, well, I also heard about how apparently GT is widely considered non-canon. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not really. I think non-canon stuff can be interesting, but I try to be avoided because I prefer canon stuff.
I know with Dragon Ball Z, there's a lot of non-canon because all of Majin Buu I heard was actually non-canon, which I hadn't heard for a long time.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, like Buu in
Yeah, some
general,
people
I
like
heard
it.
was just non-canon, like that entire thing. Like, I don't know how he came about because in the
I-
show, isn't that when Goku went Super Saiyan 3?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
what
Yeah.
so are we talking about the creation of Boo? Well, it's wasn't I'm pretty. If we're talking about creation of Boo, I'm pretty sure it was stated in the manga about how he's created by the evil wizard,
Oh,
who.
yeah.
Yeah.
Know about that? Yeah.
But
I'm not sure when it comes to Dragon Ball Z or GT or any of that. There's like a really thin line between what people consider canon and not. Like,
I feel like it all kind of fits as Dragon Ball Z.
I know,
I
it
mean,
does.
even if you want to go, it was non-canon with like Majin Buu. I'm pretty sure Goku died way before that too, and I know Krillin did. They brought everybody's come back at some point.
except for Mr. Satan or Hercule, depending on how depending
I
if
refer to them both ways. I
the,
don't care.
the,
Yeah.
basically
Oh,
apparently
Hercule
he's the only
Satan.
main
Yeah.
character not
Yeah.
to have been killed at one point. He even survived the
Yeah.
destruction of Earth,
Mm.
and now that's not really much of a spoilers because that's been around for years.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
DBZ.
I wouldn't refer to
Spoilers
that as
from
a
the
spoiler.
90s.
Spoilers,
Fine.
it's only
Yeah.
within the last 10 years.
Exactly. If it's a relevant anime currently, this is
We'll
the
avoid
yeah.
Yeah.
You should have seen it by now. If you haven't, you should be ashamed of yourself. Turn off this podcast and go watch it.
Doesn't count
Good
as a
breaking
spoiler.
the
Don't
breaking
leave
the
because
fourth
we
wall.
insulted you. If we actually insulted you there, please come back.
Come back afterwards, but
Yeah.
just go and do it. It'd be nice, you know.
Go watch all of Dragon Ball Z and come back.
Yeah.
And Dragon Ball's DBZ guy, and boom,
Yeah.
no.
There you go.
Or
That's
they
legit.
say-
A third of the time there.
Yeah.
Or you could do that, and you know, okay, sure.
Or watch DBZ Abridged, even shorter.
Oh yeah, that's a good way.
Yeah, BB.
Or
Oh,
DBZ Abridged Kai, even
Yeah,
shorter.
yeah.
Dragon Ball Z abridged. That's funny. I haven't seen if there's any recent episodes
Or
recently.
Encyclopedia
But yeah,
Black,
apparently
that
for certain
spoils everything.
series can have multiple abridged series, and in some
Oh, yeah.
cases they're sort of illegal due to the whole using copyrighted material. That's why they always proclaim that it's a parody, and
if you
and
don't,
tells you
they'll-
to
Yeah.
as Dragon Ball Z abridged says, it's a trip support the official release.
Yeah.
So
it's-
I remember in this club when we talked about potentially doing an abridged series like that, which, you know, it's like how things were at the moment. It seemed like a really interesting idea. Clearly, none of us had enough to really make that happen, but it was a nice idea. But like, yeah, just in general, the copyright disclaimer and everything else with that, it's a real bugger to have to worry about that. Because you never know, like,
Yeah.
you can say, like, I want to do something that no one's done before. I want to do it on an anime that no one's touched, brand new ground. But the problem is, like, someone might actually see that from the company and be like, okay, you're actually getting a lot of views. we don't want you to have a lot of views, like, so.
Especially if you use YouTube, you never know for copyright.
YouTube.
You could do everything right, and the system could just get you.
Yeah. YouTube will get you in really weird ways. Like I do
everything
on my channel, because all I do is, like, for the most part, I have reviews. Yeah. So typically speaking, those are fine. And I got one, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It was like, this video is in trouble for losing its monetization. It was for Arrow last season, and I don't want to say this because that'll probably really screw me over, but I have like the same thumbnail for the entire like first half of that season, and this one video was like, this is hit for copyright use. So it's like, I don't get, which still doesn't matter because it's for literally any review. You can use the image as long as it's not like the entire thing.
Yeah.
Even if it's like the actual poster for the season or whatever, it's like, hey, it's a review. I can show this picture as a thumbnail because
it's not that big of a deal.
It's
but
free rights. Usage. Like they get you for something.
It could just be this, just like someone accidentally put that picture in the system and then it automatically did it. No person actually banned it. It's just the computer.
Yeah, Yeah, I've read about how YouTube, apparently, I heard how, if you ever wondered if there's something you want to watch on YouTube, and it's mirror imaged, well, that's because they do it to avoid the YouTube scanning technology, which tells you detects if it's copyrighted or not. But it messes it up. Because
I'm sure that at some point YouTube's gotten pretty smart about it and can even notice that.
Things like that, tricks like that. Eventually, the authorities get wise on it.
Yeah, eventually they look for like code stuff. I never even thought of that as technology. I honestly always just assumed it was people. Like, I know. That's kind of dumb of me to think. I just always assumed it was people actually watching because technically you could kind of show anything. Like,
sometimes the recording process, shit happens.
Yeah. Because like it's like the same type of thing. Like, especially, I don't know if you guys heard about this a while ago. I'm like, if you were really into like gaming videos on YouTube, when they had that really big thing where like everybody was getting hit by like copyright claims, and like a ton of people had to like fight to have their videos up because it's like everyone's doing either playthroughs, which you can still legally do because as long as you're not just playing the game and it's just the game footage. If you're talking over the whole thing or you're in the video, it's fair use because you're commenting on what's happening and sort of honestly, like live reviewing almost.
I don't get why that's even a problem. It's like, I totally feel so great about watching this person play this game. I don't even have to play it myself. Like, this is so much fun watching this guy do it.
It's just like the gray ground because it's new and companies don't know how to react to it.
Yeah.
If anything, it's free advertisement.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. It's like it's free advertising,
but
you'll still get hit.
Having a bunch of fun.
Well,
I'm gonna
guys,
play the
it's been
damn
fun,
game.
but I have to go now. See you next time.
All right, bye.
See you in the next one.
Okay.
But
just have to.
I definitely. It's silly how they make up their mind about, this seems fine, and like a month later or so, you'll get something about it saying, this is totally against copyright issues. Like, come on. Like, I know the same thing has happened with several bridges, like Little Creebo and everything has had that issue where it was fine before, but then somebody changed their mind and all of a sudden it's not.
Yeah, like I don't know if you guys know who Angry Joe is on YouTube. Like he does a lot of gaming reviews, and he mentioned he had a video where he was at a panel that he did, and he was talking about how he was gonna do, or he even got offered like hey, go see Edge of Tomorrow when it came out. He got like to go to a screening to review it, and like so one person in the company told him, was like, hey, we like your reviews and stuff. They get a bunch of views, goes check out our film so you can review it, and he reviewed it and put it up, and then it's not on YouTube because it got hit, and so it, he was hit by that.
The legal department didn't realize that he was okay.
Like up or down the chain somewhere. It was just like, what is this? No.
Somewhere along the lines, somebody
get cut out, and it's just, I don't know.
I'm actually a bit glad now that I know that it's just machines doing it, and it's not people actually slamming down everything that could remotely count as a copyright infringement.
Like some stuff you could definitely tell is computers and not people, because
well, machines can be flawed, but that's why people have to program them. But anyway, bye guys.
See you later.
All right.
See you next time.
All right. But yeah, and, it's like in some of the cases where the company itself will just be like Warner Brothers or whatever, something really, really, really simple. Sometimes you can tell it's just like a machine that kind of just came in and just stopped everything. But sometimes you can tell when they really, like, someone actually checked it out. Like the old video, I doubt that was a program, just went back to like a year-old video I did and caught 1 out of 10 videos with the same thing.
Yeah. And I feel like it would be nice if it was the computer picked it up and like pinged it for somebody, for an actual person to take a look at before, like, bam, gone, ban hammer, get out of here.
What it does,
no,
it kills the video, and then it takes the dead carcass
and then
shows it to
someone. It's like a dog or a cat, here, see what I've done.
I found this bird.
Yeah, exactly.
It's dead now.
It's dead now. It's all yours. I'll leave it on your bed for you when you wake up. Yeah.
But yeah, like there's just a lot of random issues that you can have, because you'll see like all the videos where people review like K-pop videos or something, and you have to be careful. Like you probably have to put the picture, if you typically put it on the left, you have to put it on the right, because it might be like something in the corner or something. And with gaming videos, you kind of have to talk through the whole thing. You can't. I tried that once, and I said like, I thought it would help. I was like, I'm basically doing this for an intro just so my voice is in it. And then I uploaded it, and it was like, that's not good enough. And so it still didn't work. And I was like, oh, that sucks.
It takes practice talking
you have to
playing video game.
It does.
It's multitasking. It's hard.
Yeah.
Especially if it's an old game. Like some people
experience.
can do it with old games, and I feel like with reviews, it's really easy for old games because you can talk about your favorite and least favorite stuff. But live playing or like going through streaming with an old game, like if I did Super Mario Brothers with a friend, I could easily do it. We could talk about we'd talk about like all the games. But if it was just me going through all the Mario games, it would just be like a history lesson almost. Like it would kind of feel that way. Just even doing it and not watching it, I would feel like I was doing it that way. Even though I know I've seen videos where people doing it, it's like, that's amazing to me, but if I tried it, I'd hate it. Like I'd never upload that if I did it. But
or you're trying to think about what to say, and then you keep running the first Goomba because you pay attention to the game.
Like oh crap! I just started a series. I've done like 2 episodes, and it's me blindfolded playing video game, like old video games. That was the idea I had.
Really?
It was like it's old games that I've played a ton. So it's like the actual name is Blind Memory Gaming. So it's me playing old games that I actually remember and trying to see how well I remember. So mostly I've done Resident Evil games so far, because those are the games I've really played through.
You have the sound to help you, right?
Yes. Okay, so the sound's on to help. So like I was just doing Resident Evil 2, and I was in the beginning, like so far I've only done like the very start of the game, so I'll probably change it up at some point, but I was in the very beginning, so I was trying to run, like I know exactly how it looks, like Resident Evil 1, I know the whole mansion in my head and everything, and it doesn't matter blindfolded. Like I'll be like, all right, left, and then I'll just run into a wall, and I'm like, all right, the camera changed, and then I'll turn, and then I just go back to the door where I was the first time.
With a moving camera, that'd probably be impossible. You'd have to have something where the camera just stays static.
Yeah, like that's the only thing that really helps. Like when the camera pauses and it's like I can hear no more steps for like 1 second, and it's like, okay, I made it to the next scene in the next little part in the map, so I know I at least advanced somewhere. But I was like, I got messed up, and I was just running into the fire for like 10 seconds straight. And then I realized right before I died, I was like, I'm in the fire. I'm like, man, these zombies are really getting me. And then I was like, I was just running into the fire the whole time. And I just kept thinking I was getting bit by zombies. But
oh, they're everywhere.
Like, God, they are really on me right now. It's like, they are really on me. I was like, oh, no, they're not. It's fire. But yeah, it's like depending on what you do, it can be easier or harder. Like just playing through Resident Evil, I could talk about everything I know, which is a bunch for Resident Evil. But you know, it's like there are honestly better sort of history lessons for Resident Evil where you can get all that in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like copyright issues can go back and forth sometimes.
You know, with copyright issues, they always make me worried about everything I do, especially with like this club and everything we talked about doing. You know, like cosplaying a character, acting as one, and everything like that. Like, are they gonna have a problem with us using an image or something at some point, even if it does or does not, ever do anything? If anyone even notices it, like, it's still out there. It's a copyright issue. You know, someone could raise a red flag.
Actually, a perfect example of that. one of the videos I uploaded for our thing last year when we were at Yomikan. I don't know if you guys remember the guy who was doing acoustic guitar.
Oh,
yeah.
You
got
yeah,
flagged
that
for
could
that?
yeah.
Really? Or
So
you got
it couldn't be it's still on there. It's just we can't monetize it because it recognized those actual songs he was singing, which were anime openings.
yeah.
And so we couldn't actually which I really thought it was crazy just because it was like a random thing.
Yeah, like it's some random person just playing a song. I turn on YouTube all the time, like listen to keyboard versions of songs. No one's said anything about those. Like you're thousands of views on them.
Yeah,
it's weird.
That's something that frustrates me about it. If how much stuff could count as a copyright strike, if you can't put any of that, I can't even form the words right now.
Like if you can't put the content up.
If you can't put that kind of content up, what can you put up?
Yeah.
How much of YouTube is actually 100% original content?
Yeah.
That's why in a lot of videos you see. I think that's why people do this a lot, so they don't get copyright strikes, even though they can't monetize videos. But when you see videos where it's like, it's just like a song from an anime. It's like, disclaimer, I don't own this music. I think people mostly do that because sometimes it does work and you can still monetize the video if you do that. And it just kind of it's, like we've been talking about, it's random sometimes where you can upload a song or a clip of a show and it'll be like, sure, and nothing will happen. And then other times if you put the disclaimer, it will at least let the video stay up even if you can't monetize it. And people can still find it. Because I actually did that with Teen Titans Go. I did that a lot when that first came out because I was going to do like a clip of the week because that show is, I personally love that show. I know a lot of people hate it because Teen Titans is such a classic. It's very different.
I definitely get the humor of the show, but like I don't know. I never felt for it.
Yeah.
Not as much as Teen Titans, the original one. It's like.
But yeah, like when it first came out, like it was so funny to me. Like they have some of the funniest stuff in there sometimes. So I was like, I'll just record some of my favorite stuff and I'll just upload that sometimes.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing that a bunch per each episode. And some stuff would stay up and I get monetized. Other stuff would have copyright. And like I can't monetize it. It's still on my channel. But it's some stuff is, some stuff isn't, and you just never know. But it's just there. Like I don't know. And now I kind of want to transition to what you guys think about Teen Titans Go. I honestly feel like I'm the only person that's ever said it's good. Like outside of comments I've seen where people laugh at the clips that I've uploaded, I never do any of you guys actually like Teen Titans Go?
I really never truly did. It seemed okay, but like I said before, I preferred the normal Teen Titans. I felt like it kind of sold them out to like a giant. It made it one comedy type of thing, and it wasn't about like the superheroes or anything like that. It was a bunch of teenagers doing shenanigans, and that was like it for me,
Yeah, I gave it a shot, but it wasn't really my cup of tea. Yeah, I think going in, I just expected it to be more like the original, and it was a bit jarring. Yeah, I think the last episode I saw was one where they all died, and I was like, "Oh my god, they're dead."
Wait, which
was
one
this a volcano episode?
It might have been.
Yeah.
I remember everyone dying in a volcano at one point.
There is one where they're old people and they died. There is the one where the volcano one I have.
Yeah,
on
apparently
my
for some
YouTube.
reason Raven
The
has
volcano,
a
I think, is the one episode I watched the entirety of.
It was just
that
like
was a funny one though.
I think wasn't that the one where Beast Boy killed all his friends kind of on accident? One of them was
I think
killing
so.
all their friends.
Yeah.
All of them.
Actually, he did that on purpose, to be fair.
Yeah. Again, weird. Like you said, I get the point. Like it's
meant to just be the super silly version
a bit
of it.
more.
Yeah, like that
darker
for the North Star type.
It's darker than the original.
I forgot what it was called.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that. The original was pretty dark.
But
with,
they didn't die in the original.
They never died.
Yeah.
How about more negative then?
Okay.
But they did die in the comics.
That's true. Everybody
and then
dies
come back
comics.
to life.
Everybody dies.
Comics are a whole nother thing.
But it's like there was an episode that just came on this week, and I was gonna put it on our Facebook page just so you guys could see it. The entire series. One of the things they do is that Raven likes this thing called Pony Pegasus, and it's My Little Pony.
Uh-huh.
The whole episode that they made last week, they were inside. Yeah. So whenever she's alone, she's like playing with them and stuff. So it's really funny. And in the episode that they just did, the guy, Control Freak, who's the guy who has the remote on the TV, he put them in that show. So it was like My Little Pony, and they were in there. Like Raven had like the funniest faces like ever, and she was just like losing her mind because she was inside like My Little Pony, and it was so funny to me. But like it's just a silly show. Like one of the other things they do is their art style. Like I haven't seen them do it in a while actually, but they have a lot of silly stuff where they'll do like you know how cartoons will use like real images. They do that in there a lot. They do stuff with they did a scene where it was something like the episode was people's dreams or whatever, and Robin had a dream, and the animation was the old Teen Titans show.
Yeah, a lot of people were pissed off.
Yeah, I knew. As soon as I saw it, I was like, man, they messed up because people are going to be so pissed that they did this. Because it was a good scene in the episode,
honestly,
but it was
I would totally love that episode for that just that one moment. I would find it amazing.
But I was like, I was like, it's a good episode. I was like, man, people are going to be so mad they actually did the old style because you know it's the old style, but of course the animation was HD, so it looked amazing, and it was just like a comedy, a little dream sequence. I was like, they're really going to make people mad now. But they did that. But like, I love the show. I think it's really funny. But yeah, it's just not gonna pick up like old Teen Titans. They bring in, they have a ton of the characters. They brought in like Aqualad's been in there a lot.
Which one? Black one or white one?
White Aqualad.
This is Teen Titans, not Young Justice.
Yeah, I honestly can't find Young Justice better than Teen Titans. I'm that guy.
That's a whole other discussion there.
Yeah, I feel like
we could save that for a whole. Like, I think we could do a whole podcast on Teen Titans versus Young Justice, the drama and all that. And
next episode, why action cartoons don't last long on Cartoon Network.
Oh yeah,
all Cartoon Network failures. Everything.
Graveyard of
anything you like. It ain't there anymore.
But yeah, as for Teen Titans Go, I might someday give another shot. I watch a lot of stuff already, so yeah.
I feel
can put it on my never-ending list.
It is for any, like, if you guys didn't know, and for anyone listening, it is only 15 minutes or like less than that, because it was half an hour and it was like 2 separate stories, and I don't know, whatever reason they cut it to just half that, so it's only 1 story every week now.
That's the thing Cartoon Network does with their comedies. They just the shorter ones, they split them up to so they can air more. Yeah, I think that started around when Adventure Time, like however many years ago Adventure Time started. I think that was one of the first shows that split them up like that.
And now it got so popular, it's back to full time now. Right?
Is it? Which one?
Well,
Adventure Time or
Adventure Time?
No, they still air.
It's still 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I didn't know
that way they can stretch it out more.
Yeah, because I don't watch Adventure Time. I've seen some episodes and I know it's super funny. I just don't. That's all. But like I know Mordecai and Rigby.
Regular show.
Yeah. I know they do it there, and I remember hearing that show actually got picked up because they had like some contest or competition or something, and those guys actually won, and that's how they got that show.
And Uncle Grandpa.
Yeah.
That was a weird show when I first saw that.
Yeah.
Just the promo for that I thought was really weird. Just the name.
I watched the pilot. It was much worse.
What's everyone's opinion on Clarence, by the way?
I've
never seen it. Again, the ads put me off.
I had somebody tell me, like, I met basically the maker of Fiona and Cake at Midwest Media, and she was saying, like, she was really promoting Clarence, saying how funny it was. Although I have yet to meet a single person who's really watched the show.
And it looks like it kind of looks like a new version of Ed and Eddie with the 3 characters, but the main character's voice drives me nuts. In the commercials, I can't.
Oh yeah, that's all I've gotten so far, which is why I haven't tested it yet.
No.
Yeah, he kind of sound like this, and he has a whole some really awkward attitude.
I won't judge it till I see it, but the commercials don't do it justice. If it's good,
it's pretty funny. I'll watch the show.
That describes my thoughts on pretty much everything you guys have talked about. The ads just turned me off, and I haven't seen a single episode. Teen Titans Go, Clarence, regular show,
Gumball, Adventure Time.
No, that one's actually good.
Flapjack.
For years.
Samurai Jack.
That's been dead for even
you're
more
going
years.
too far back now.
Johnny Bravo.
Okay, you can just
going back. Bear, Scooby Doo, Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat. I don't think anybody will remember that.
Kyle, just stop while you're ahead.
to like the Teen Titans Go and everything.
Mummy's alive.
I'm sure it was like just that one episode I watched because I will completely admit to this. I love Adventure Time like to a T. But there are those like episodes in it that are like, if you've watched it and you've watched nothing else, I apologize.
Yeah,
it's not a good intro episode.
So there's a lot of them that are not, man. Like I think
because
I got really lucky. Like Adventure Time was one of those things. Like to me, I was like looking at commercials, like it doesn't seem all that like whatever.
Yeah.
But I watched like one episode, and it just happened to be. Was it like I think it's called "It Came from the Nightosphere"?
Oh yeah, that
which is like a like award-winning episode.
They have a
like,
few of those episodes every season that are like the home runs.
Yeah, like I couldn't stop. Like I had to see every single episode of the show after that one.
Like, when it started out, it was a lot. It was pretty much just random humor, but as it went on, it got more story based. But there's still the random stupid ones every now and then. And some of them are good. Some of them are just a waste of 11 minutes.
I felt that way about Adventure Time too. I just saw a random episode. Before then, I thought this show doesn't look that interesting.
Yeah.
Then I happened to catch one episode at random and thought, wait, what's this?
Like there's actually something going on that's really interesting here.
The lesson there is that Cartoon Network advertises very poorly.
Pretty much.
That or they just cancel it.
But I mean, the issue is like a lot of people just have like these little biases in their mind. Like we've seen a lot of crap, gentlemen. Let's be honest here. We've tried a few things and it just did not turn out well.
Yeah. Speaking of crap, the Boom Crew. Anybody remember that?
The Boom Crew?
One of those last few remaining Kids WB shows. They're like it was like next to other crap shows like
trying to remember
Fred
this one.
and
It
Johnny
sounds
Test.
familiar actually.
Johnny Test, Johnny Test is still on.
Yeah, that was still going on.
That one actually got saved. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember when WB like went off and like it became like I guess TV20 now. Mm-hmm. When that went off and all those shows got canceled, Johnny Test got saved by Cartoon Network. And Spectacular Spider-Man got saved by Disney.
That was Teletoon that saved Johnny Test, unfortunately.
It might have been, unless it went to Cartoon Network after, because I know they picked it up after a while, so now it's Cartoon Network. Right. And then, Disney picked up Spider-Man, but everything else was gone. Like, they had, The Batman was still on when WB got canceled, so that disappeared. I really liked that. I thought that was a really great Batman cartoon. I know a lot of people hated it. Especially during season 3, they actually hated it more when they added in Robin and Batgirl because it was like Batgirl came in
Titans fans. It's ridiculous.
I thought it was
Teen Titans
great.
fans for that.
I don't know. But
God, okay, that's a fake for saying that.
But people didn't like that one. Like I thought it was really good.
People complain about every Batman cartoon since the animated series.
Just about,
like
pretty much.
Well, because everyone's
Except
had
for
its
maybe
own
Brave
twist,
and Bold,
right?
I guess. Brave and Bold, I think, officially ended because they had like 3 or 4 seasons.
Shit.
It actually got a 4.
I love that show.
They have a musical episode in there
I
too.
never watched it.
Oh, you should.
That's completely
Excuse
different
me,
Batman.
everyone.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, they I don't know. Like some stuff just makes it, some stuff doesn't. Like I said, Johnny Test got picked up, Spider-Man got picked up, and then
it got
unfortunately
dropped.
I mean,
Which I don't even understand.
Spider-Man.
I watched like.
Well, no, that one was because something about Marvel. Marvel got bought up by Disney.
Yeah.
Wait,
but they
no.
owned. Yeah, it couldn't have been that.
Yeah, that's the
it was
great.
before
Still,
that happened.
I read about
That's
that.
still not
That's
even
because they wanted their own Spider-Man, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
They
Maybe,
canceled
which is
it.
stupid.
Them for
That's why they canceled.
Spectacular, man.
Yeah.
They
That was-
canceled
was
it because they had to go to a company outside of Disney, and they didn't want to have to pay another company for production of the show. That's why Spectacular Spider-Man went out. That's why Wolverine and the X-Men went
that was
out.
on
That's why that went out. Yeah, that was an amazing show too. Both of those at the same time.
At least
were like,
Iron Fincher's got 2 seasons.
Iron Man. Those are like 3 of the most. Well, the Spider-Man one I won't say was like the most unique because that was like all those Ultimate Spider-Man storyline. But the Wolverine and the X-Men was Days of Future Past as a series, and it was the first series that they've done where Wolverine was leading the X-Men. They didn't have Xavier, so it was the
there was
one
like
season.
It got one season.
And it
Yeah.
had
show.
cliffhanger too.
Yeah, like it was like the most unique version of the X-Men because we've only had really X-Men Evolution, Wolverine and the X-Men, and that's it.
And
they've all been.
You forgot the anime.
Well, we had the anime and that, but like that wasn't on like popular channels. That was on G4. I watched that on G4.
And I watched it on Crackle.
Yeah, and it was online too.
Yeah.
So,
Rest in peace, G4.
Yeah,
No,
that was
yeah,
a
it was-
terrible day for me. 'Cause
Yeah,
I love
G4's
G4.
been raped ever since it stopped being about video games and more about, I don't
They
know,
still-
man stuff.
Yeah, that it
Yeah.
kind of went downhill.
So, like,
everyone.
2000
There was a
or something.
lot of
I don't
issues
know.
I had with it as it was going down. It's like a lot of
There were
decisions.
issues
they
a
made,
lot of
like,
the
come on, man.
people had. Like Kevin Pereira has his own podcast, and I saw an old episode before they were having the actual finale of Attack of the Show, and like Sarah and oh god, I can't think of her name, Candace, were both on there, and they were on the show when it was ending, and they were talking about like they weren't having some of the biggest things that Attack of the Show has ever had. Like it could have, even they thought it should have ended better than it did, but. Yeah, that's more of a sad topic. I don't want to talk about shit.
Happier times.
And it's still,
Let's go to
it's
happy-
technically
happy.
still on. It's still a
Goodness
channel. It's
arena.
still never
That's-
changed to Esquire.
Not yet,
That's,
or
that's another.
Not,
topic
it still
for
hasn't.
another
Like it
day.
was supposed to
Like,
change like over a year ago. But if you whatever cable system you have, if you go to the channel that's G4, it's still G4.
are they showing
like-
reruns?
Yes.
Endless
Yeah,
reruns?
it's reruns. It's the same reruns they had before. It was mostly Cops and Campus PD, and then they have reruns of X-Play and Attack of the Show, which no, they don't have Attack of the Show. I wish they did because I watched that. The X-Play stuff, I remember it was like a year. It was this year, and I was like, I haven't seen it in a long time. And I actually recorded some episodes just to watch like old X-Play again.
That
But
show
it was
had
like
too
the
many
more
pretentious fucks on the show.
recent stuff.
Can I just say, like with X-Play, like I really did like the show, but I think the thing I liked more than anything else that show created the Splinter Cell thing.
Oh my God.
Secret
Chaos
Agent
there.
Steve and Special Agent Bob.
That
so
was some of
good.
the funniest stuff
Oh
I've
my
ever
God.
seen. That man,
Oh.
I always I looked that up on that's on YouTube if you want to look it up.
I know.
And
I know.
if you haven't
I've,
seen it
like,
and you don't know what we're talking about, you need to look that up because that
Oh,
is
yeah.
some of the
Seriously,
funniest
dude.
machinima stuff you will ever see.
yeah.
Special
It's
Agent
so
Bob
good.
and Secret Agent Steve. That junk was so funny to me.
I'm big over the show Portal.
Wow.
I think that's what it's called. On G4. Old
They-
G4.
Yeah, I remember Portal.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that was about though. Do you?
It's kind of like everything that pretty much predates everything that happens that's made by Machinima and Rooster Teeth. Pretty much with the games.
It was like all machinimas, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I remember it. G4. I don't know why they lost the shows they did, but they had some really unique stuff. Like they had, I'll never forget this. They had an anime-based skit show called Colorful, and it was a skit show, but it was anime. Like all the skits were anime, and they had the show Cinematech, and then they had Cinematech at Night, which was basically the Japanese Cinematech because it would be like Cinemateku, and it was like all the Japanese video games. So. And that was really just trailers for video games, and somehow it was an amazing show. Like even if it was, like regular Cinematech wasn't as interesting because they was the normal games. But if you didn't like, especially back then, because it wasn't
No internet,
YouTube
right?
and stuff like that,
Yeah,
it was a huge deal because you could see like literally half-hour trailers, which is still a thing now for like movie trailers. It's they have a thing on some channel I've seen before, and it's like an hour long. It's just like let's go to the trailers. Or let's watch trailers, and it's just an hour movie trailers. But that's what Cinematech was, and it was just half an hour video game trailers. And they also had machinimas inside of those sometimes too. I remember one, I'll never forget, they did a World of Warcraft one, and it was like the whole episode was like this, and it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. And like all I remember from that was this guy jumping off a dam, and he was like, illegal Danish, and I never forgot that joke. And, like, that's all I remember is that and some other little stuff.
Illegal Danish.
But that was so funny to me. Like I love that, and like Cinematech at Night was like the Japanese video games, which was really cool because of course you like never see that stuff. Like now, I think we're all more into it, way more than when that used to be on, which was years ago. So, we probably come across it way more often, but. Back then it was like just you'd see all sorts of games that just aren't even going to be in America, and that was always really cool to me. But then it just faded away. G4 lose shows over time. X-Play changed. Adam Sessler left, and they had the whole stuff with that, which really upset a lot of people.
That
of course.
upset me when I heard he was gone. Like he was like one of the big reasons I watched it. I love the guy; he was awesome. But after that, it's like, ugh.
Never was a fan of LSS or Morgan Webb.
I like.
I just think they're pretentious fucks in my opinion. That's why I never really like X-Play as much as all the other shows.
Sure.
When I was younger, because I did not honestly. I didn't have that far into cable, that beautiful side of cable where G4 was located. Yeah. I didn't have it, so I never really got to enjoy it. So those times I would actually get to, it was like immediately I'd get to a TV that had it and turn it on, and like X-Play was like the shit for like everything.
Yeah, even as a kid, I think they're pretentious bucks. Even though I don't know.
I was just always behind on video games, so hearing and watching these things was amazing.
Yeah, because especially before I could get on the internet.
Yeah, there was nothing else I could really go to. Technically the internet existed, I just didn't. Yeah, not to me.
Yeah,
so.
when I was like 13, and I first got that channel, it was the greatest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Me too. What I really liked about it was the humor.
Yeah,
the skits.
Any place could just tell you, oh, good graphics, good gameplay, 4 out of 5. But X-Play made a show out of it.
I remember when they did an April Fool's Day episode, and I just saw the game recently, so I remember what it was. And Adam gave Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus, the game on PSP where you play as Vincent.
Yeah. Well, it's not just on PSP though. It's on PS2.
It is?
Yeah.
I thought it was on PSP.
So yeah.
Well, he gave it like a 2, and people were like super pissed. So Final Fantasy. So in the April Fool's Day episode, he was like, "We're doing like the first thing ever where we're re-reviewing a game," and they like edit out like a bunch of the stuff, and at the end he was like, "I'm giving this a 6 out of 5." Yeah. It was so funny, like that, and one of my favorites was I think their top horror games ever, and they did like the Saw thing. That was really good. Not just like the countdown was really cool, but like just the comedy too was really silly in that episode. But I enjoyed that, and they had like everybody, because it wasn't just them. It was like Adam, Morgan, and they had everyone from Attack of the Show. So they had like Kevin, Olivia Munn. That was when she was on there.
Kristen Holt from Cheat.
Who is now Kristen Adams, and I just saw her in a thing for Nickelodeon that I watched. It was like a studio tour thing. I was like, oh, Kristen Adams, that's cool. Like I always like seeing what they're doing, because I know Kevin Pereira. I don't know if that show's still on, but he was on a show here at like Channel 7. It was like Channel 7 show. It was like a game show type of thing. But yeah. But they had like, there's definitely their specialty episodes. All those were some of the best. The one they did, which was like their retro game thing, and the whole episode was The Breakfast Club. And that was before I saw it, but I still loved that episode because it's just really silly and funny. But that was good. Like I said, the horror game, the Saw stuff. You got to head out too?
Yeah, sorry guys, I have to get out of here.
All right, we'll see you next week. Be in the next one.
See you later.
All right, see ya.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we could probably wrap up here. We're almost at an hour actually.
Oh wow.
Dang. But yeah,
time flies.
It kind of
it's almost 9.
Not much of an issue.
Come up with some more topics.
All right, we'll see you next week.
We only hit one of our topics.
Yeah, we initially were gonna go through like art and then try to transition to Smash Brothers. So
next time.
Oh, well,
I guess
maybe
so.
next time, possibly next time.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like just X-Play in general, all of Attack or all of X-Play or G4. I mean, I definitely remember.
I definitely feel like we can practically have an entire topic of just talking about old things that happened in
the
G4.
past.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like Arena.
Arena. I remember when they had the G4 Rewind thing, and that was when they used to show old episodes and stuff, because people liked the old episodes like X-Play and stuff.
Yeah.
And it would play early in the morning. I remember Action Blast, which was it was like an hour-long special thing they had from like excuse me, like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. or something like that. And I watched that before I went to school, and that was actually how I got into the original Transformers and G.I. Joe, because they would play. It was weird how they did it. They would play like random episodes, but it was like they had 4 different things. It was like they had 2 hosts that had comedy moments. They had like Kaiju Big Battle, which was just like
wrestling.
Yeah, it was just wrestling with costumes. That was it.
He was advertising with Chikara Pro. which is a really good wrestling show. Which
it was weird. Yeah, it was kind of weird because it was like I used to watch wrestling a lot, and then I lost interest, and it was like it's weird. I really loved watching them in like just costumes wrestling, and they would do comedy during the wrestling too. But it was like they'd have like little cities sometimes, and they would like drop kick each other, and they'd fall and crush the buildings, or pick up like a building and hit them and stuff, and it would like break. But like I actually really enjoyed it. It was just silly wrestling, and then the other two things were Transformers and G.I. Joe, and it would either like it wouldn't even be like old Transformers. It could be original G1 Transformers sometimes, and this was the first time I saw it. It was Beast Wars Transformers, which was my first Transformers show.
It's everyone's first.
Pretty much.
Yeah, for like our age, that was our first, and so it was like, yes.
my first experience with G1 Transformers was pretty much the movie when on like a road trip when my dad bought it.
I saw that when I was really young too. My uncle had it, and I didn't. It was cool because it was Transformers, and it looks amazing. Like even now, that movie looks amazing. But I watched it a few years ago because I watched through because one of my dad's friend had the original G1 all on DVD. So I watched the entire series in order, and then I watched the movie, and it was like, dang, if you watch it in order, it's super sad because they kill a lot of Transformers. It's not like, Optimus died. Yeah. They killed off like 10 characters in that movie.
Yeah, like Ironhide, Wheeljack.
Yeah.
Well, I think they kill off Ratchet.
Basically, like the top.
Is that what movies are for nowadays? Just to kill off the characters, you know? It's like they had these guys a while.
Yeah, they did that same shit with G.I. Joe, the movie with Duke. Well, almost.
Yeah, but like in that one though, like with the Transformers movies now, it's just Transformers. Like that's the storyline. But with that, it was the series, and then the movie changed the rest of the series. Like the movie was canon. Like the series season 2 ended. And then it skips like 25 years, and that's when the movie takes place. And then after the movie is season 3, so anyone who died was really dead, except for like they did like some weird ghost stuff, and like Starscream was a ghost at one point, and some other stuff. But it counted, like, and it was weird that counted because I remember hearing something and like no one even really knew that movie was coming out when it was coming. It was like it's like anime movies now. It's like if you know it, you'll find it, but nope. Like you may have seen it, and that was it.
Is it sad that you mentioned like Starscream as a ghost? In my mind went immediately to like an image of like ghost hunters like going through a house and something, just picking up Starscream. Like, oh my god.
It's like, oh.
What the hell?
Old Decepticons.
Vehicles are ghosts too now. It's gonna get crowded.
Flying through the house.
Flying. What the hell?
But I guess we'll cut it here. We have to get out of here anyway in like 7 minutes. So we're actually so we're gonna end the episode here. If you guys have any suggestions for topics for next week, please put them down in the comments below. Please check out all of our other stuff. It's mostly actually kind of manga reviews. It's our other meetings from other years, and also some stuff that we've done at Youmacon, some of the footage we've gathered. But thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. If you illegally did that, we don't really care. It's no big deal for us. Like, we don't, really, let's be honest. But thanks for listening in general, and please tune in for next week's episode. Bye.